Tingnan natin kung ano yung bite marks na nangyari sa
Now I
kanya.
need to cover the bite area. Wait until it hardens. I think it's ready.
Yun,
The cast
nagat
looks
ng... Sabi ko sa inyo eh,
contaminated
kinagat
from the
yan eh!
wounds in that area.
Kinagat... Ngipin ng tao yan, di alligator! No external indication for
I can
in-depth.
finally get to the practical part.
Ito na. Ano na tayo, scalpel.
I must be extra careful because the skin of the deceased is very stretched. I wouldn't want an explosion here.
Kailangan dahan-dahan na tayo ah. Ano ba itsura pag pag yung salvage? Parang siya sinalvage eh.
You can immediately see a
Paypayan ko,
very
baka
large
mainit,
swelling of
nainitan.
the organs. In addition, all internal organs are very congested.
Ako muna to. Ayaw pa mo to. Tinan mo
I proceed to remove the rib cage.
Shola, hey!
Nandito na tayo. Uwi na tayo sa bahay natin, di ba? Saan ba ako? Bahay ko ba to?
So cold. I guess I should have brought my jacket to work.
Head back to your apartment. Yes, sir! I'm going back to my apartment. Saan may apartment ko to? Yung apartment namin, ewan ko, parang haunted house. Out of service. Yun naman na may apartment ko. Wala pa elevator. Ito kita nyo. Minsan mo yung, dito kasi sa bahay na to, yan. Yung kapitbahay namin, may tumatakbo ng mga bata dyan eh. Hindi namin alam kung sino. Pero wala naman nakatira. May bahay ko. Ang taas. Alam nyo kasi, dito sa bahay namin, tignan nyo. May bahay ko. Dito yata. Alam niyo bahay ko, di ko alam.
What?
Bukas yung bahay namin.
What the fuck? But I locked it. I'm sure of it.
Ninakawan pa ako, wala na akong pera. Ninakawan pa ako, wala na akong pera.
Who the fuck did this? I don't have anything valuable. Money. They must have stolen the money.
May pera pala ako. Teka lang, inom muna ako ng gamot ko. Nasa may gamot ko, may pills ako eh. Nahihilo ako eh. Pills! First may pills. Kailangan ko ng gamot. Sa may pills ko, ayun.
Christ. Why did the neighbors not report anything? I'm calling Steven.
Tawagan natin si Steven. Steven! Steven! Oh, tinan niyo yung bahay ko! Wala na nga ako gagamit-gamit. Parami na nga yung bahay ko. Tawagan si Steven.
Steven?
Steven.
Now, Jack, I told you I'm going for a drink with you for another night in a row.
That's not why I'm ringing. Although I could do with one. Someone broke into my apartment.
What? Did anyone see anything? Have you called the police yet?
No, I don't think so. Anyway, no one contacted me. As for the police, I'm calling right now, officer.
All right. Do you want me to head around? Look for any trace evidence?
I don't know. No, I guess not. Honestly, I don't have the strength to deal with it right now. I just want to lie down.
Are you sure? Because it's no trouble at all.
I think so. I'm sorry. I just wanted to calm down a bit. I don't know. That's probably some stupid joke. Only money was stolen.
Money? From Alice's box?
Dami niya kasing ipon eh.
Listen, I can come over. I have the key. I'll drop by, do what I need to do, and you go get some sleep.
No, don't trouble yourself. Lately, I've been just so tired and distracted. I don't know. Maybe I forgot to close the apartment door on my way to work. If anything else is missing, I'll let you know and call the police.
All right. Just make sure you close it tonight. If you see anything weird tomorrow, let me know. Whoever did this may be watching you.
I don't think anyone is dumb enough to come back.
You're probably right. Take care, Jack. If you need anything, call me.
I promise I will. Thanks, Steven. Sorry to bother you again. I've just been all over the place lately.
It's not a problem. Good night, Jack.
Good night.
Grabe, kita mo naman yung bahay ko.
Clean
Ang
this shit up.
sobrang dumi na nga. Tapos, nanakawan pa ako. Tsaka alam niya kung Saan yung mga gamit ko? Teka lang, naayusin ko lang.
There you go.
Uy, astig. Para kami
To be
superpower.
honest,
Baka nagtatago pa yan dito, ha? Nanakaw? Ano yung magnanakaw natin? Hindi ko na nga nalilinis yung gamit ko, nina. Nakawan pa ako. Ano pa nilinisin natin? Clean up the apartment. Ano kung lilinisin dito? Parang hindi naman kalinis-linis ito. Wala na akong malilinis dito eh. May nakalimutan pa ba ako? Ito palang mga picture. Yung picture ni Samantha. Ayun yun. Nanood pa ng TV. Ayos din yung magnanakaw, no? Ay, hindi bumukas bigla. Biglang sumura. Sinusundan niya ako ng mga spirito.
that's enough for now. Jeez, I'm exhausted. I'll get the rest in the morning. That's enough. I need to quickly change and finish getting ready.
Sipin nyo, magtatrabaho siya, matutulog siya. Same routine. Di na tinan mo yung spaghetti niya. Nung Pasko pa yan. Hindi niya pa yan. Tinan mo, walang linis-linis, walang ligo-ligo. Ganyan niya, pumapasok sa trabaho, walang ligo. Magpapalit na ng damit sa babaho.
Again.
Jacket lang. Tapos back to work. Tinan mo, pagdating niya sa mortuary, amoy bangkay siya.
Oh yeah, I should take my pills.
Pills tayo. Ang dumi, oh. Dali mo yung pills mo kaya. Ano kaya itong iniinom niyang pills? Anip.
I feel like it takes me forever to finish these things.
May mga pills na pula.
Time to go. Remember to close the door properly, Jack.
Sarado mo kasi yung
I'll ask the
pinto.
neighbors tomorrow if they saw
Nako
anything
po.
suspicious.
Para nawala ako neighbors. Uy. Let's go! Pupunta na tayo sa trabaho natin. Mag-embalsamo na naman tayo ng tegpay. Parang ang tagal ng biyahe ko. Isang oras ba?
I'm exhausted.
Alam nyo yung likod
I
dun sa
wonder
may
who
baba.
Stephen brought in today. Good
Steven,
morning, Mr.
pumasok ka
Ridley.
ba?
No, he's not here yet. No, I'll do without him.
Wanted. Fugitive. Pete. Hackett. Baka nandito na yan ah.
I hope he... Oh, come on. He was too lazy to even wheel the gurney to the autopsy room.
May tumawa? Narinig niyo di ba may tumawa? Ako lang ba?
Almost there. Now for the tough part. The body needs to be moved. Where's Ridley when you need him? Alright. I just need some gloves and my apron. Then I can get to work.
Ito na. Pinuha ko na yung gloves tsaka apron ko. Sabi gloves ko.
I'm going to need my tape recorder for this. Autopsy dated November 22nd,
Camera ko.
1991. 7:32 p.m. Led by Dr. Jack Hanman.
Yan na, tinanong kayo namatay niya.
I begin by verifying the identity of the Jane Doe.
Si Jane Doe. Oh.
It's most likely Harper Lloyd, age 35. Found in a well-owned house by her neighbors Leonard and Dorothy Chelsea. Reported missing for a week.
Kaki, nakita siya sa ano? Doon oh. Nakita niya yan. Ang tawag dyan? Parang timbakan ng mga tubig yan, di ba?
It is also known that the deceased was diagnosed with affective bipolar disorder. Harper was placed on drug therapy, which she dropped out of fairly
Jane Doe?
regularly. During her treatment, she was
Balon!
under the care of her common-law partner, Richard Benson, professional truck driver.
Or driver. Imbisigahan na natin kung ano yung kinamatay niya.
The last person who had contact with the deceased was her partner.
O yung jowa
Harper's
niya daw.
last message read as follows. I'm gonna take a shit in their stupid well. Then we'll see who has the last laugh. Nice one.
Jowa niya yung ano? Huling nakasama.
Police records also show that Mrs. Lloyd was in constant conflict with her neighbors. The constant parties and subsequent brawls made living in the area nearly impossible, especially when Lloyd's partner wasn't around. Firefighters found the body after the Chelsea family began complaining that their tap water tasted
Adiri!
and at one point had begun to smell and turn a dark.
Yak! Isipin mo yung tap water nila, tapos nakita yung bangkay, tapos iniinom mo. May bipolar disease
I
siya.
perceive the most important task in forensic identification of a drowned person is to distinguish whether the death occurred before or after entering the water. Okay, that could have been worse. I carefully removed the victim's clothes so as not to damage. The deceased was found fully clothed. One shoe is missing. I'm going to need the camera to document all possible suspicious marks.
Siya yata yung tumawa eh.
Definitely the first thing that stands out is the very advanced postmortem gigantism.
Tira muna natin.
The skin of the deceased appears very delicate, smooth, and relaxed from being in the water for a
Parang
long
tagal niya
time. The whole
nalunod ko na
body is
sobra.
extremely pale. There are bruises and hemorrhages on the neck. These usually occur due to increased inhalation when fighting to breathe underwater.
Dami niyang bruises oh.
Post-mortem markings are seen on the underside of the body. That is, on the back, thighs, and calves of the deceased.
Ganito
It's
pala pag
likely that the
nasalvage,
deceased was
no?
lying on her back when she was fished out. The so-called wash.
Huwag lang siya gagalaw.
The deceased had indeed been in the water for a long time.
Tagal niya, 60, tagal niya bago siya nakuha sa tubig eh. Ay, may bruises siya oh.
There are some obvious scratches on the skin.
Nahuted na yung tiyan niya sa paba. Kulang pa tayo isa eh. Ito yata. Pa isa. Sa kamay. Takot ako. Tignan, hindi ko na alam kung saan yung isa pang pipicturan. Sa tenga? Huwag ka lang gagalaw, bro. Sa kamay.
The skin on the hands can be easily separated from the body. The separation takes the form of a glove.
Walang tatawa. Talagay natin yan dito. Tapos malaman natin kung ano yung mga nangyari sa
So, after the preliminary exam, it's time to take a closer look at this.
Ano? Perform na natin ang ating
Today's
autopsy.
date, the deceased was clothed. Rigor mortis does not need to be checked. Based on the state of decay, you can be sure it has subsided.
Okay, titingnan natin siya ng magnifying glass.
We see thick white foam in the mouth of the deceased, resulting from
Di
pulmonary.
ako pwede sa mga ganito trabaho!
It's a characteristic in deaths due to drowning. There are obvious scratches on the skin, especially on the back and hands. These could be defensive wounds,
Grabe yung ano niyo,
evidence of
balat
some
niyo.
sort of altercation prior to death. The spots have a purplish blue-red hue, which is a typical sign of the death of the organism. Yep, pretty typical. Liver mortis are formed as a result of putrefaction of blood in the veins.
Nag-ano na yung balat niya, no? Kasi nababad sa tubig eh.
No obvious signs of struggle. The skin on the hands would have easily peeled off the flesh. Some of the fingers have already lost their nails.
Biglang gumalaw eh, no? Ay, meron pa pala sa paa. May mag-define glass
Due to the fact that the deceased was wearing shoes all the time, her feet are in better condition than her hands. Nevertheless, we can still notice a clear, wavy skin and the so-called washerwoman's skin texture. Okay, that's probably enough to indicate it. I'd better note that down in the records. Marks found on the neck and
signs of drowning, bruises, and hemorrhage on the neck.
No healing or scarring is visible.
Lakas sa ulo. Vital starch on arm. Ano kaya? Baka ano to? Binugbog tas sinapon sa balon!
Diffuse spots are caused by blood rotting in the veins. Considering the deceased's penchant for drinking alcohol, it could have been a mere accident.
Bugbog yata ito tas sinapon sa balon yan. Yan yung ginawa yan sa kanya. Nag-dissect na tayo.
I'm going to conduct a dactyloscopic examination. If in fact the deceased is in the police database, I will find her.
Focus on the subject hand and inject, kailangan daw natin.
Glycerin is injected successively between the nail and the skin of each finger. The substance then enters the fingertip, removing shrinkage and wrinkles.
Nagkakaroon siya ng fingerprint. Tingnan niyo yung palad niya, di ba wala? Kasi nga, napuno ng tubig, pero lumalabas yung fingerprint niya. Oh.
Now I take a brush.
Take the brush.
Only when the skin is taut and elastic can you use ink.
Lahat yan, lalagyan natin.
I think it's enough.
Sorry.
I'm getting fingerprint samples. In the case of drowning victims, you have to be extremely careful. The skin may fall off the hand like a glove when you take the print. Okay. I'll use the fax machine to add the print into the system.
Take the fingerprint corrected. Kunin na natin to. Kunin natin. Saan natin lalagay? Send fingerprint to Steven using the fax machine. Ito tayo sa fax machine. May fax machine. Ito pala. Possible to.
And
pinatay ito. Kaya ito natagpay. Para siyang bugbog muna siya.
Once the data uploads, I'll run the prints against the police database on the computer.
Compare the fingerprints at the computer police database. Okay na i-compare. Ito pala.
Great. The data is there. Click
The
upload.
data has been detected. Ayan na, tara yung dati, no?
Now, go to the database and find a matching print. Expect possible hours of fun.
Analyze. Match.
One more.
Okay.
Analyze button. And we have a result. Everyone has a story to tell, even if it's just a police record.
Upload na natin yan para makita sa forensic investigation.
As predicted,
the
deceased turned out to be Harper Lloyd. That went smoothly. I'll print this out and attach it to the medical records.
Para siyang sabog. Para siyang sabog mo.
Great. Now we can go back to my inspection. I'm adding the name of the deceased. I'll start the internal examination by taking fluid
si
from
Jane
the
Doe,
victim's
siya si
blood.
Harper Lloyd.
A needle inserted through the nose will do the trick.
Select the syringe and obtain a sample to the test diatoms.
If the victim was alive when she fell into the well, she must have swallowed water fighting for her life. And then diatoms, characteristics of pooled water like a well, got into the body.
Titingnan natin.
In the
Use
meantime,
microscope to
I'll check the
verify the
sample under
press.
the microscope. I'm sure that these algae traces will be found in the
Baka
samples taken from the well where police
sinaniban
found
lang
the
siya ni
body.
Jane Doe. tingnan natin yung kanyang ano.
Now I need to adjust the knobs properly. And place the diatom in the center of the... I won't even notice an army.
Roy! Gato pala maging ano, no?
I won't
Medtech.
even notice an army of diatoms from this distance.
Right.
Oh, I'm finally starting to see something here. It's
Ano ba to?
man, perfect.
Focus lang natin. Perfect na daw. Wala. Hirap pala hanapin yung ano dito. Baka yan, oh!
As expected, we find the aforementioned algae in the
Oh,
solution.
sabi ko sa inyo,
Their
may
upper
algae
part,
siya sa ano, eh.
Apotheca, which overlaps the lower, hypotheca, is clearly visible. Poor soul. I get cases like this
Oh,
more. The presence of
sabi ko
diatoms in the brain
Nandiyan pa
samples
ba si
taken
ate?
indicate
Nandiyan pa.
that the deceased was
Kala ko mawa na
certainly
naman ng
alive when
parcel,
she
eh.
fell into the water and was possibly conscious. Since there were diatoms in the brain, it means that many more of them must have entered the body. Studies of the rest of the organs will most likely confirm this hypothesis.
No external indication for
I can
in-depth.
finally get to the practical part.
Ito na. Okay, ano na tayo? Scalpel.
I must be extra careful because the skin of the deceased is very stretched. I wouldn't want an explosion here.
Kailangan dahan-dahan na tayo, ah. Ano ba itsura pag ano? Pag yung salvage? Parang siya sinalvage, eh.
You can immediately see
Paypayan ko, baka
large
mainit,
swelling of the
nainitan.
organs. In addition, all internal organs are very congested.
Ako muna to. Ayaw pa mo to. Tinan mo
I proceed to remove the rib cage.
Tanggalin natin yung ano, loopers and remove the rib cage.
It's easy to see that the ribs have been imprinted in the lungs. So, I'm going to start by drawing blood from the lungs for testing for diatoms. If diatoms were only present in the lungs, this would mean that the victim was placed in the well after death, and the perpetrator wanted to get rid of the corpse in this way.
Kuha tayong mga sample.
Now, I remove the lungs and proceed to their examination. Taking the lungs in my
Yan!
hand,
Kakayosin nyo!
tissues have lost their elasticity, which is the result of water
Ang itim
emphysema.
na ng lungs niya!
In addition, there is significant swelling of the organs, and as a result, we have a nice imprint of the
Atay!
ribs. The
Sino
emphysema
kailangan ng ulam?
itself, it's clear how far it's progressed, which is characteristic of drowning.
Drowning yan, drowning.
Corpses found in water are worth examining with the tomograph. However, I can't count on such luxuries, so I must reach for a more archaic technology. A bucket and water.
Teka lang, locate a bucket in the storage room to perform the test. Huwag kang tatayo dyan, ha. Diyan ka lang. Huwag kang gagalaw, kukunin ko na yung bucket.
Ooh, I hope no one dipped a mop in it. It's best to go to the lab for this.
Gumalaw na yung babae dun, ha. Nagkuha na naman ng parcel.
Historically, the lung float test is used to detect infanticide.
Hugasan natin yung
Water
lungs.
should be at room temperature. That's enough.
Mayan.
To test for this, I have to place the lungs in a container of water. This checks if there is air in the lungs.
Titignan
And
natin,
speaking of
natin
lungs, everything is ready to bring them here.
Puntahan daw natin yung katawan, tapos kunin natin yung lungs niya. Paano na siya makahinga niyan? Wala ka ng lung.
Of course, such
Ayan
a
ang
study
tinatawag,
isn't
hindi
without
ako
flaws.
makahinga kapag wala
Air
ka.
may have entered a newborn's airways during resuscitation attempts. Gases released during decomposition could also give a false result.
Ito yung tsura kapag hindi, kapag wala ka sa buhay ko, di na ako nakakahinga.
In this case, however, it's about something else. Namely, the amount of fluid in the lungs. To test for this, I have to place the lungs in a container of water and wait to see if they fall or if they will float on the surface.
Tingnan natin kung magpo-flow ba siya o para siyang steak, eh, oh. Ayun, nag-flow. Oh, hindi lumubog.
Just as I assumed, the lungs collapsed easily.
Sarap.
Fluid could have entered the lungs during panic attempts to catch breath underwater, but it could also be the result of bacterial infections or cancer, so further investigation is needed.
Ito na yung lungs mo. Dadisik na natin siya. Ano bang gusto
I
niyong
move
chop
on to
ng
dissecting the
lungs?
lungs of the deceased.
Kuhain ko na.
You can hear the distinct, very unpleasant crackling of the tissues being cut through.
Wala ko muna i-chop yung steak natin.
The parenchyma is remarkably pale, although small hemorrhagic foci and petechia
Ayun si
are present
hamburger.
on the surface.
Adobo kat ba gusto niyo?
All right. Now, I will check the collected fluid under a microscope. If we find 20 diatoms on the slide, it can be considered drowning, and our result is not false positive due to possible contaminations.
Ito na naman po tayo sa microscope.
Let's see. Although I expect we'll find them, I won't even notice an army of diatoms from this distance.
Ito naman po kami sa
Oh, I'm finally starting to see something here. And perfect.
Ano hanapin namin dito? Diatoms. Guys, hanapin natin yung diatoms daw. Parang butete yata yun eh. Yun din yata yun eh. Parang mahaba. Ito.
As expected. In solution, the diatoms are clearly visible. There are smaller and larger clusters of them. There will definitely be more than 20 of them.
Dami.
I'll make a note of all this. So far, this case looks pretty standard. It's clear from the beginning that it's drowning.
Drowning talaga to.
Well, the procedure requires me to check everything anyway.
Parang bigas lang eh. Drowning.
So, I move on to checking the other organs.
Ito.
I ligate the heart and then remove it for inspection.
Ito buhay ko kapag wala ka. Ito puso ko. Ito yung puso ko.
Strongly developed
Nagdudugo na.
putrefact hemolysis of the organ can be seen at first glance. Apart from that, no signs of a heart attack or other heart disease.
Tiri naman yung puso ko. May damage yung puso ko sa ilalim. Strongly developed hemolysis. Hemolysis
I
yan.
move on to the next organ. This time, it's the liver.
Liver niya. Guys. Kita nyo, yung liver niya parang ano. Tignan mo yung liver niya oh.
It's immediately apparent that the deceased didn't care for herself. Like most organs, her
Alak
liver is
yata to ng alak
enlarged
eh.
and severely congested.
Nag-aalak yata ito palagi eh.
The beginnings of cirrhosis are visible in some areas.
Cirrhosis. Visible. Cirrhosis.
I transfer the organ to a board and proceed to dissect.
Okay, dadisect na natin yung ano, yung look, yan, dadisect na natin yan. Ano to? Bago na naman to. Ito yung kabilang patay. Patay ba to? Liver. Iisa lang yun. Aray ko, bawal pala magkamali. Teka lang, nahihilo na naman ako.
The
Wala ko na naman
cross-section
na
clearly shows dilated veins and many small hemorrhagic foci. I must admit that this is quite a feat, considering the rather young age of the deceased. Harper enjoyed drinking so much that she might not have lasted a few more years.
Kaya na ano nyo kapag nag-aalak kayo! Remarkable dilated alcoholic cirrhosis.
I move on to the stomach. I take a sample of the fluid for testing.
Sabi stomach mo to. Select the syringe. Punta natin yan. Digyan natin ng syringe. Ito. Kunin natin yan.
It looks very turbid. I'll see what happens after spinning. But that's
I-spin
in a
na natin
moment.
siya.
Now, I carefully ligate the organ, then cut it off.
Examine na muna natin tong Stomach niya.
It's enlarged, probably full of putrid gases. I transfer it to the board and carefully open it, checking the contents.
Okay, bubuksan natin to. Kung ano laman ng kanyang, stomach. Iwain natin. Grabe naman yung pag-chop natin dito. Ano bang size to? Adobo cut na naman to
One thing you'd never get used to is how much this desk smells.
Baho na ito. Ayan, dahan-dahan lang tayo. Huwag niyo akong guluhin. Baka magkamali ako dito. Ma-double dead to. Ayan o.
Okay. The
Diri!
stomach is full of fluid and unidentified organic matter, which is probably leftover food.
Naku po.
So let's check the diatoms.
Again?
Again. But in a centrifuge for a change. My old ideal for all the fluid tests I need to perform during an autopsy.
Okay, retrieve the notebook from the office. Baka kami tao. Isipin nyo, itong embalsamador na to, ako lang tao. Tapos trabaho ko night shift. Ang galing. Tapos may mga magnanakaw pang nakawala. Ewan ko na lang kung mabubuhay pa ako sa panahon na to. Teka, ititest natin daw yung dugo niya pag ihiwalay natin.
Okay, this is one last little sample.
Sample, lagay natin dyan.
Now,
Anong oras? Set to both dials and start mixing. Ang hirap maging medtech no. Ganyan ka pag mag-medtech ka. Mag-mix ka yan. Ganyan no. 15 minutes. 15 minutes ba? The presence of diatoms. Time speed. Ito yata 35 and 25 diatoms, di ba? 35 and 25. 35. Ay. Tingin niya. Speed time natin is 35 minutes. 35. Then, 75. Speed natin is 25 pala. 25. Yan. Tama kaya to? Ang hirap pala maging medtech. Buto na lang gamer ako, no? Collect the sample from the centrifuge rotor. Tama ba pagkasabi ko?
Done. I'll run it directly into the chromatograph and run it against the data from the police.
Alam niyo yung
I'm certain the
kakabisa din yan.
analysis will show similarities between the fluid and water in Chelsea as well.
Ito. Diba? Dito tayo. Ilagay natin dito yung samples na na-collect natin. O, diba? Place natin dyan. Pa ako ng... Ito ko kanina.
Let me think.
3 ml fluid.
3 milliliters should be fine.
3 ml. Roy, Uy, sobra. Okay, yan. Kukunin na natin yan, sample na yan. Yan. Tama na.
Okay, now it's the chromatograph's
Kunin
turn.
natin. Chromatograph. Anong tawag? Kasi lalabas yung result. Galing!
Well, the results are quite clear. I was hoping it would be a more interesting case.
Ayun po yung result ng niya. Dito tayo. Okay. Let's test the body.
More
Enlarged
diatoms.
stomach
Analysis
with
indicates the
irritated
same origin.
tissue.
Blah, blah, blah. There's little left to do. I'm going to check the airway patency of the deceased. Interesting. Looks like there's something stuck in the trachea. I'm moving to the board for further inspection.
Anong nakastock dito sa trachea? Baka nakalunok ng ubas. Kasi pumunta siya sa may ubas sa ilalim ng
I dissect the trachea
lamisa
and open the
para
organ.
magka-love life siya. Problema, na-stuck tapos na-choke siya. Tapos, siyempre, hindi na siya maligtas. Kasama niya yung jowa niya. Natakot yung jowa niya. Kala niya kung ano paano na. Tapos, kala niya napatay niya. Tapos, ilaglag niya sa bangin. Grabe, overthinker natin.
Inside,
Sabi ko sa'yo eh!
a wedding ring? This is interesting.
Pinalunok yung wedding ring! Aba, ganito nangyari. Kasi di ba baka nakita siya, may iba siya kinakasama. Tapos yung partner niya, oh, ito, Sing-Sing, papaalala ko sa'yo kung sino asawa mo. Pinulunok sa kanya. Talagang overthinker yan.
Based on the size, I can say that it's a woman's wedding ring.
Oh.
Quite standard from the outside. There's an engraving inside.
May anniversary pa.
What the fuck? But this is my ring.
Hala,
Alice's ring.
ring niya pala yun.
But how did it? But they should be at home.
Kanya pala yun. So, kabit niya yan. Grabe naman mo Naruto, may kabit siya.
I
Plot
have to
twist
check
ka,
this
Dok.
out. Where are my meds? Where the fuck are my meds? Jesus
Ina-anxiety na siya.
Hope this all make it go away.
Baka na-anxiety lang siya.
I have to check the apartment. It can't be. Jesus Christ.
Teka lang, uwi muna tayo sa bahay natin. I-check natin yung apartment natin. Wala na tayong ligo-ligo.
Mr. Ridley. Mr. Ridley!
What's all the ruckus?
I need to go home. Immediately.
Ayun
What?
na, uwi siya.
Now?
I have to. Have you seen anyone here this morning? Anybody suspicious?
Oh, there was no one. Dorothy was, but only for a moment, then she left. What's wrong with you, Hammond?
Okay. Thanks.
What about the corpse?
I'll come back, I promise.
Ano, uwi daw tayo. Nahihilo pa tayo
Jesus
niyan.
Christ!
Ano na kayo nangyari? Bakit kayo nandun yung wedding ring nila? Baka kabit niya yun.
I have to check this out.
Pero titignan niya, baka nanakaw. Di ba nanakaw yun?
This.
Kung nandun pa.
Please be there.
Check the train check.
Can't be your wedding ring. It's not here.
Wala nga.
It's not.
Wala nga. Yung ano ko, Sing-Sing. Oh my God.
This is sick. Fuck.
Anong nangyari sa kanya? Baka si Steven talaga yun.
Come on, Steven. Pick up the fucking phone.
Hey. What's up, man?
They took the ring.
What? What ring? What are you talking about?
They took the wedding ring. Alice's wedding ring.
One sec. You mean burglary? You said nothing was missing.
Yes, I know that. I don't know. I was jittery. Maybe I didn't notice. I don't know, but that's not the worst of it.
Tapos may hika pa siya,
Calm
no?
down, Jack. Breathe. What happened?
I found it in the trachea of the deceased I was working on. Do you understand? I
Makichismis tayo.
pulled it out of a dead woman's trachea.
What?
I don't know what's going on. You think Red Pete wants revenge? He's playing with me. Huh? I knew it. I knew it from the beginning this was going to happen. I didn't make it up.
Jack, listen to me. Try to calm down.
Si Red
Don't
Pit kasi,
leave the apartment.
ano yun eh,
I'll be with you right away, okay? I'm on my way.
nakalaya
What
siya
sane
sa
person
ano,
would do something like that?
kulungan.
Fucking Ridley lets him do whatever he
Nakatakas.
likes as usual. What are you saying, Steve? Steven? Don't leave me, man. Come on. Fuck. Oh God, what now?
Huwag daw tayo umalis. Sit at your desk and pour yourself a drink.
I need
Teka lang, inom muna ako
a
ng...
drink.
Hindi. Inom muna tayo niyan. Bago ang lahat, mag-pills muna tayo. Kailangan natin kumalma at pull out ourselves. Kailangan muna natin umupo dito. Mag-isip-isip tayo at
Jesus.
magpahinga.
What's
Ayun na,
going on?
Diyos ko po. May sakit na nga siya. Mag-whisky pa siya. Nang buhay yan, oh. Tama yan, no? May ininom kang pills, uminom ka ng alak. Ano? Epekto nun.
Just one sip more. Yep.
Ano kaya epekto nun?
Jesus.
Niya na siya, guys.
Oh, God.
Nahilo na siya.
Yep.
Tama yan.
Oh, God.
Yun, nahimatay. Chapter 3 na tayo.
These reports will kill me one day. It's time to go to work.
Ano nangyari sa kanya? Trabaho na naman siya, no? Ilang araw siya din naliligo. Parang 1 buwan na yata siya din naliligo. Natulog kami sa patos. Kakaiba.
Fuck.
Hindi naman tayo pinuntahan ni Steven eh.
Yes.
Hi, this is Charlotte.
Kasi Charlotte to.
I guess I interrupted you again?
Oh, hi.
Charlotte, oh.
No, I just... I wrote reports in those last sections, and I was just about to leave for work.
I always know when to call.
Yeah, definitely. What's up? How are you?
I'm good, thanks. What about you?
Okay, nothing new. I had a few days off.
Oh, that's nice. Then... Did you have a moment to look for something for me?
Ano na naman yun, Charlotte?
Something for you?
Well, the photo with, the photo I asked you for?
It hasn't come yet? Oh, sorry, but I said it a week ago.
No, not yet.
Ah, bakit?
Maybe I'm too impatient. I'm sorry for rushing you. You have so much on your mind, I thought maybe you forgot.
It's okay. No worries. With my pills, Pills. I almost forgot to take my pills.
Bakit kaya di pa dumadating yung
So
mo?
you see,
Wala, Pax machine pa yung uso sa kanila, guys.
I have to go now.
Yes, sure.
Charlotte.
Let me know if you still haven't received the letter. Then I'll try... well, maybe I'll find something else.
Oh, really? Could you? It would be great if you could. Really?
Bakit niya kaya nahanap yung
Yes.
picture nila ni Alice? Yung
I know
Alice
it means
kasi
a lot to
asawa
you.
niya.
Well, I won't hold you any longer. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Take care. Pagul niyo mag-usap, oh.
Damn. Did I mess up the address?
Baka mali
How
address
am I
mo.
gonna get those pills?
I'm your solid follower to your YouTube simula nung 2 of us panlalaro. Ay, salamat kay Marbs. Dali natin yung ating pills. Alam niyo, daming
Maybe I
pills
should
ito.
invite
Buti hindi
Charlotte
na
to do something
na-overdose.
herself.
2 pills siya, hindi lang 2 pills per day ito. Grabe itong,
I should take out the
take
trash
out.
first.
Hindi, trash lang.
Ugh.
Oh, ito lang.
Why is it so wet?
Tignan mo nga, bahay mo, puro buong trash. Lahat trash yan.
Oh shit. Almost left the door open.
Ay, teka lang. Kaya tayo nananakawan. Tayo marunong magsara ng pinto. Nananakawan pa yung ganyang bahay. Tapos, kita mo, parang pagpasok mo dun, amoy patay. Di ka naliligo. Diba? Pagpasok mo. Hey, baby.
I shouldn't be this tired.
Wala kayo dyan, di ko titingnan yun. May dumpster. Di ata. Ito tatapon. Dumpster ah. Ayun, sa labas. Takot ako eh. Tara ko to. Ayan. May tumatakbo. Narinig nyo? May footstep. May footstep.
I wonder if Alice's mother has a film of this photo somewhere. I actually hadn't thought about it before. I should call her on Friday.
Trabaho na
Oh,
naman! everyday
Why
routine.
do I like sleeping so much?
Ay, yun yung narinig ko dun sa amin ah. May sumisigaw bigla-bigla ah.
Good afternoon.
Isn't it a bit early for you?
I missed our invigorating conversations. Has Stephen brought the body?
Yeah, the trolley's in the hall. Maybe wheeling it to the dissection room will be invigorating enough for you.
Huh. I've missed how friendly and helpful you are.
Friendly to. Ito na naman.
I think I'll get straight to work on this one. Focusing on something will do me some good.
Parang bigat na ito.
Christ, this one's heavy.
Parang malaking tao to ah.
Hey, Mr. Ridley, I need help. I can't lift this bag myself.
Bigat na ito. Paano mabubuhat to?
Ridley! Ugh, wasn't easy, but at least I can start.
Ito na, bubuksan na natin.
A new package must have arrived. I guess Dorothy ordered it.
Kailangan maanisig
I think I'll skip recording a video for the students today. They don't need to see me and the body. Ugh. And they'll still have the accompanying photos anyway.
Start the voice recording.
November 27th, 1991, 5:14 p.m. Conducted by Dr. Jack Hanman. James Evans Jr., also known as Evans, had previously been convicted of possession of stolen goods, robberies, and drug trafficking. There were also attempts to accuse. The body was found naked and mutilated. Clothes, probably belonging to the deceased, were found lying nearby. The body was found inadvertently in the woods near Peetsville. The dogs picked up the scent while searching for a missing boy.
Para siyang pinatay, no?
Sounds disturbing. I wonder what condition the body is in. Oh, fuck. I didn't expect this level of mutilation.
Para siya binugbog daw eh.
This is going to be a dirty job. I'll check through the bag the police left. Maybe there will be something worth noting about the victim's clothes. Leather belt. You can see that it's been serving its owner for a long time. Plain cotton t-shirt. Classic jeans. Certainly not my style. Is this? Interesting. Most of the blood is visible around the neckline. However, mainly traces of soil. It's a bit like the perpetrator's pulled his shirt over his head. The bloodstains don't appear to be related to any injuries on the body. Just a lighter engraved with the police, and it looks somehow...
For a partner in crime.
It's probably a coincidence.
Pulis, so baka pulis pamatay nito, no? Ano ba mayroon dito? Ito.
Something stuck here.
Ano to?
It looks like some kind of ecdysis scale. This could point to an animal being responsible.
Parang ahas? Parang sa ahas eh, no? Meron pa ba siyang laman sa bulsa? Wala, yun lang. Ito, buksan natin zipper. Wala. Something. Ito,
And
may
here,
nakasulat.
another animal souvenir. It looks different than the previous one.
Ano to?
The only thing I can tell from the clothes is that... Okay, I'll take a look at the scales.
Nature Atlas at the
They seem too
office.
different. Dorothy once brought an animal encyclopedia here.
Animal
She performed
Encyclopedia.
an
Baka kinain
autopsy
siya
on
ng
an
pating.
exotic
Ay,
animal
pating tuloy
smuggler.
ng buhaya.
The guy
Or
suffered
bear.
an accident while transporting
Diba?
illegal animals. Not only were the police needed on site, but it took nearly a day to round up
Ayun
his
ng
cargo.
buhaya.
Dorothy had a hard time with that case.
Kasi yung leeg niya may alligator
Impact
eh.
killing?
Parang ano eh.
Or did one of the animals he
May
was
parang
transporting do
skin.
him in? They even talked about it on the news. People were terrified that some reptile would just come out of their can and grab him. Okay, the book.
Oh, nahilo na naman ako. Ayun na. What the fuck? Alam mo yung suddenly, nabigla akong naimatay. Nag-blackout. Ay, kadiri! Uminom siya nakaglove siya! Check natin kung anong reptile to.
Which page was it?
Ito yung nakita natin, oh.
Local
Baka
wildlife.
ito.
I bet I'll find something here. Not this area, but who knows? Nile crocodile.
Nile crocodile.
Nah. What kind is this?
Ito yata.
No, that's not it. Oh, yes. This turtle turned out to be a killer. He ripped off the guy's wrist and tore him in a few other places. Aggressive beast.
Okay, pero pinatay siya, no?
I only need to concentrate on the crocodile chapter.
Pinatay siya. Kunwari, dun siya sa north, dinamp yung katawan. Tapos siguro hinatak na lang siya nito ng alligator. Tapos kinain yung ulo niya. Sarap.
Well, I wouldn't expect them in the Mississippi River.
Ayan na, nakuha na natin. Mississippi
From a
River.
distance. Well, another menacing set of teeth.
Ipin.
From a distance, these animals seem so cute. Let's keep it that way.
Ito. Drug and object. Naman. Ano natin?
An
Go to the
interesting
lab and
pattern.
compare scale with
Very
the examine.
diverse.
Nakuha na natin, ah.
But that's not the one. No, that's not it.
Ito yun, di ba?
Well,
Ayun.
this scale makes more sense than the previous one.
Alligator nga.
How did it end up here? So, either
Alligator nga
someone
to.
donned in crocodile products was around the deceased, or one of them attacked him. I'll examine the body and take photos. If an animal attacked him, there'll be traces.
Tingnan natin. Makikita naman natin yun sa katawan niya.
Christ,
Kumikagat siya
why am I
ng...
so tired? Some coffee would be nice.
Kagat siya ng...
What was I supposed to... the pictures. I'll have to show them to
Picture na
Dorothy.
natin.
Too bad that we no longer keep our ranking. With something like that, I would come out on top. I've been a case like this for a long, long time. Alright, I'll begin. The deceased skin is smooth and taut. This suggests an advanced stage of decomposition of the corpse.
Uli-uli, oh. Wasak, eh, oh.
No head. That's not hard to miss.
Ito, kagat-kagat din yung kamay niya, eh, oh. Baka pinakain to sa buhaya, no? Marami na
It's
kasing
unlikely that a
nalalaman, eh.
human would make such a wound.
Pag marami ka na nalalaman, papakain ka talaga sa buhaya.
Nasty.
Ayan, eh. Daming tama.
Such a wound could not have occurred during the victim's
Buti
lifetime.
nga, mayroon pa siyang mga ibang parte. Ito, may tattoo siya, oh. Ano to? Parte to ng gang. Gang. Ayan, oh. Ay, para siyang... Oh! Para siyang
There are
tinali
also
sa
clear
paa.
traces of the deceased ankles being bound in some way.
Tapos, tinali siya pati warik. Tapos pinakain sa alligator.
Evans couldn't have tied himself up like that.
Oh?
It looks like some sort of attack or kidnapping.
Kasi pag marami ka na nalalaman, eh. Papatahimikan ka na, eh, no? May kagat ng buhaya, oh.
And as expected, there's a bite.
Pinagkakagat yan. Tanggal uli.
This wound appears to have been made by a sharp instrument.
Tinorture muna to. Tinorture muna to bago to pinakain. Uy, gagi. Uy, tinanggalan ng ano? Tinanggal si Junjun. Diri yung katawan nito.
Interesting. This needs to be investigated further. I need to gather my thoughts together. And look at these photos. It seems that, like, I wonder whether the decapitation took place. I should inspect the work of...
Bite mark daw. Same bite. Ito.
This looks very promising. The bite is clearly visible. It should be easy to compare it with the encyclopedia and identify the culprit. I just need to make it a little... I hope I put it in right.
I-fax
I
natin
can
yan.
never remember what there was.
Dati, isipin nyo wala pang mga social media, fax machine lang.
At university, I didn't have facilities like a...
Okay, oh.
Fantastic. Practically a one-to-one. Just some tracing paper, a pencil, and I can check these in the encyclopedia.
I-check natin siya sa may encyclopedia.
Now, did I leave them in a drawer? Or maybe a box somewhere? Ugh.
Dilim.
I don't remember if I left them out somewhere.
Kailangan natin ito sa drawer. Ang dilim naman dito. Kailangan natin ng lapis. Ito. Tracing paper.
Wednesday. It's not my favorite day, although it's certainly better than Monday.
Tracing paper. Saan natin makikawaya? Ito, ballpen, oh. Ito. Hindi ba yan? Dami yung ballpen dito, ah. Wala, eh. Wala tayo makakita. Ay, ito pala.
Oh,
Tracing paper.
looks like I can tidy up after myself. Sometimes.
Biglang may tumayo dyan, oh. Tracing paper. Ano pa kailangan? Pencil. Ba makakita ang pencil? Ayun, sa table ko,
A
pencil.
very, nature-driven case so far. I'll have to consult the encyclopedia again. Good thing Dorothy left it here. Otherwise, I would have had to run back to my place to get some.
Tingnan natin kung ano yung kumagat sa kanya at kumain sa kanya. Use atlas to compare the bite marks. Teka lang, iinom muna ako ng pills. Inom lang tayo ng inom ng pills. Libre naman yan. Kapag inatakay ako, mo na. Bawi na lang ako sa next life. Ito sa encyclopedia. Ayan yung mga x-ray. Tingnan mo, may napalian ng buto. Tingnan natin. I-trace natin yung kumagat. Drag the object. Ito na yung object ko. Ito pala.
The shape of the jaw
Hindi.
appears correct, but not the teeth. That's not it.
Saka ito.
It
Yun.
makes sense. This would also explain the mold found in the
Ano pala
clothes.
magano?
It turns out that some of the wounds
Sino kumagat sa
can be
kanya?
safely blamed
Galing,
on
oh.
local alligators. However, we cannot blame them for the decapitation. It's not these animals we should be afraid of here. I should
Baka
make some
ano nga
notes
yan,
and start the
di ba
autopsy.
galing siya sa kulungan. Tapos marami siyang nalalaman. Tapos pinatay na lang siya tapos pinakain sa buhaya.
Ugh.
Di ba?
And several stab wounds of varying depth and
Yun, oh.
circumference.
Daming tama.
It looks like the killer might have missed before they finally hit the neck. Mississippi alligator.
Oh, laki ng kagat
It's
to.
strange that an alligator would leave such a clear and smooth mark.
Pinatahimik na yan, madami ka nang
It doesn't look
nalalaman. No?
good. Evans wasn't decapitated with one cut.
Saan kaya yung ulo niyan? Wala na, nasa
Looks
saan
like an
na yan?
uneven bite. It's worth
Oo.
taking a closer look at this. Maybe there will be some remaining teeth marks.
Nagat ng ano. Tapos wala si
The
Junjun.
result of an animal tearing at its body. Eaten skin, soft tissues, and genitals. There are even some teeth marks, but... well, it doesn't look like an alligator. The bite is firmly incorporated into the wound. A
Parang hindi
photo alone won't
alligator
help
yata
me
yan.
here.
Tao
I
yata
need to make a
kumagat yan.
cast and compare it.
Ngipin ng tao yan eh, oh. Hindi naman alligator yan eh.
Evan's right side must have been more attractive to the crocs and insects.
Diba? Parang ngipin yata ng tao yun.
Strong binding marks. You can see peeled epidermis and small wounds. The imprints are quite deep and even. From the looks of it, I'd say Evans was restrained with his own belt.
Pinali siya ng sarili
There's
niyang
no end to
Ben.
playing zoologist today. I need a tool with dental impression cement. Can I find it here? No.
Sa may lab.
It's
Alam mo,
probably
hulo
lying
talaga
somewhere
ng
around the lab.
laboratory na to. Ayos.
I hope the cement hasn't expired.
Ay, hilo na naman ako. Hanapin natin silicone dispensing gun. Pinain sa alligator yan. Yung pills ko di nauubos. Shit! Dapat inumin ko na kaya lahat. Diba? Teka lang, hanapin natin dito. Ano daw yung hinahanap natin? Yung gun. Silicone dispensing gun. Ito yung tsura yun. Ito.
A month after the due date. That could be worse.
State the cast of the bite marks around the groin. Tingnan natin kung ano yung bite marks na nangyari sa
Now I
kanya.
need to cover the bite area. Wait until it hardens. I think it's ready. The
Yun,
cast looks
kagat ng... Sabi ko sa inyo eh, kinagat
from the
yan eh!
wounds in that area.
Kinagat... Ngipin ng tao yan, di alligator! Kinagat...
Well, let's hope the imprint turns out better.
Kinagat si Junjun na halal na nga ng
Brush,
tao.
ink, and paper. Similar to taking fingerprints.
Kinagat ng tao yan! Kawawa naman si Junjun, kinagat ng tao. Sabi talaga mga ano nito, mga wild animals.
Paint over the area. And put a piece of paper on it.
Yan, tingnan natin. May
That's very
ipin, ako po!
strange. I'll run it through the facts and check it on the computer.
Hindi naman
I
kumagat
really
yan.
don't want to believe what I'm seeing.
Delikado to, new trauma unlock ka talaga. Pinutol si Junjun ng ano, ipin. Mas to.
It'll probably take a while.
Ayan na. Malalaman na natin kung sino kumagat kay Junjun. Bata pa naman si Junjun.
Finally. What? The partial impression I have may match several people. Okay, this one is in prison, so he's out. Another in prison. Oh, here's someone with
May lumabas
quite
na ano.
interesting tendencies.
Si ano yun? Si Alice. Parang
Who's that? It
baka na-hallucinate lang siya.
one doesn't either. I'm afraid
Kasi
this
picture
will
yun ni Alice tsaka ni
remain.
Charlotte
I'm
eh.
going back to the body. I need to make a note before I start the dissection. You can see that the torn tissue, this wound,
Daming tama, oh.
maybe something.
Cause of death.
For obvious reasons, I need a perfect breeding ground. Alligators rarely kill humans.
Di ba?
The abdominal and genital area are supplied with plenty of blood. Time for internal analysis. Finally. First of all, I'll try to determine whether death occurred before the decapitation, or if it ended Evan's suffering. With the scalpel,
Grabe
I'll
naman
open
to.
the deceased's chest. I cut deep
Daming pats
in
niya.
a straight line, avoiding the navel. We see a lot of fat tissue under the skin.
Ba, oh.
When I
Daming
remove the
patis niya,
ribs,
grabe oh.
I expect to see
Papanito.
even more fat on the organs. Correct. High levels of internal fat. The deceased smoked And this is the culprit. Well,
Dark
it didn't
tarry
look like the holes
lessons
were that
in the
deep.
lungs.
Such hemorrhage could have been caused by hitting the chest with a blunt object, or a puncture directly affecting the organ. They appear to be of different depths. The cross-section is uneven. Open pneumothorax should be added to this. The deceased could have experienced extreme hypoxia, and, as a result, obstructive shock. I wonder what the organ is enlarged with very clear, light yellow traces of steatosis on the surface. No signs of heart attack, but similarly to the lungs, there is a trace of puncture with a sharp object. In pneumothorax, the heart rate increases. In the event of such a wound, this would mean bleeding out faster and more. In turn, the increase in the amount of fluid in the pericardial cavity could lead to cardiac tamponade, which is also a life-threatening condition.
A deep heart wound penetrating the left atrium near the left pulmonary vein. Grabe yan, no? May taba sa puso. Natatabaan din pala yung puso natin kapag sobra nating fat. Okay. New Year, new resolution. Magda-diet na ako ngayong taon. Hindi ko nga lang alam kung kailan taon. Basta New Year. Hindi natin alam. Alam mo, next year.
Derping. The organ is fatty and enlarged. The beginnings of cirrhosis are obvious.
Ang hirap pala pag sobrang taba mo. Dami mong sakit na makukuha.
This time, nothing to write home about.
A mild state of disease with no impact on the deceased dead.
So, I proceed to carefully remove the stomach. Like most other organs, it is fatty and clearly enlarged, not to mention swollen, partially due to gases, but mainly due to the deceased's lifestyle. I take the organ to the cutting board. The outside is intact. I'm going to check the contents.
Taba din ng stomach niya. Puro daw gas. Ito na, hiwain ko na maayos. Bawal tayo magkamali.
It sounds like there's an unusually large amount of undigested, and now
Pinatunawan to.
stomach contents inside.
Pinakain to sa pinakain muna siya na madami bago siya ipakain sa alligator. Grabe naman to.
Evans had to swallow it due to his injuries, which means he was still alive when he was brutally wounded in the chest.
Buhay pa siya. Nalalaman pala kapag buhay ka pa. Bago ka, pina-brutality ka muna. Return to the autopsy. Teka lang, nahihilo na ako yung pills ko. Dapat yung pills ko lagi na sa kamay ko eh. Hindi na sa banyo eh. Na-hallucinate ako eh kung ano-ano nakikita ako eh. Isipin mo, kukunin niya yung pills niya, lalagay niya sa kamay niya. Pinandisect niya ng katawan niya. Yummy! Ice cream, yummy! Ice cream, good! Kailangan pa natin mag-take ng pills palagi. Pinandisect niya nun. Ano natin yung kanyang enlarged stomach with no external signs of damage. Stomach walls intact. No signs of bleeding inside the organ.
Only the trachea left to be examined. Surprisingly, it's not damaged by the decapitation. I move on to cutting it open.
Ano siya? Hindi na damage sa pagkabigti niya, no?
Okay. I carefully cut, and...
Patayin mo natin, sige.
Blood, just as I expected. Evans not only swallowed it, but also choked on it. Looks like I can wrap this up. Let me tie this together.
The blood from the injuries blocked the free flow of air. Hindi, syempre na.
After he was abducted, stripped, and tied up, he was dealt several penetrating blows to the chest. Then his head was cut off. Evans was deprived of his
Homie
genitals,
yata to.
and the body served as an easy meal for the animals. Even though there are a lot of injuries on the body that could cause death, it was the decapitation that ended Evans' life.
Namatay siya
The
sa
animal bites on the limbs
pagka-decapitation.
occurred after death, so there's no reason to treat these as the cause of death. The damage to the lungs and heart must have led to severe hemorrhaging, so there's no doubt that Evans was choking in bloody convulsions. But it didn't last too long, which I conclude from the small amount of blood in the stomach and trachea. I never thought I'd ever wish someone to have a heart attack, but in this case, it would have been better for him. In some way, it can be said with certainty that James Evans was murdered.
Murdered siya, guys. So, ano ang murder dito, homie? Wala dito nakasulat eh. Swissy? Hindi yan eh. Unknown? Homie yata to? Or unknown? Pinunin na natin yan. Oh! Kanino signature lalagay natin dito? Kay Madam Serena. Serena. Galit with exclamation point. Naku po, yari ka, dadalawin ka na.
Oh well. I need to stitch this poor guy back up.
Close the
It's really
body.
bothering me. Something's not right here.
Uh-oh.
Because even now, the organs are relatively clean. The skin around wounds also, it's like, someone pumped it out? Oh, Christ.
Papayin ko
Oh
na.
no. It's kind of weird. I'll leave these questions for the police to solve.
Tingnan natin sa refrigerator yan.
And now, I get to head home. It's a fucked up thing. I'll hold off taking long walks in the forest for the near future. I have a feeling that it won't end with just one body.
Woo! Uwi na tayo!
Good night, Mr. Ridley.
Good night, Mr. Ridley.
The body is ready to be picked up.
Sure. Good night.
I think it's the first time in a long time that I finished work at a decent hour. I'll get home and... Oh, come on. Fuck! When did I get a flat tire? What the fuck?
Ano sa ano natin, gulong natin?
Oh, come on. This is impossible. What's this supposed to mean? Why is this happening? Someone is messing with me again.
Sino kayo nag-flat ng tire natin?